Hi, I'm Nicole,
And I'm Misha.
and we're Ritual Común.
Listen for my how.
So today we have a very interesting topic because we started with the inner child and then we moved over to generational wounds. And then from there, we want to now talk about societal wounds. As a society, coming from all over the place together, understanding how that relates to us spiritually and what our process is here spiritually, but also what our wounds are as a society and how sometimes we don't see the integration so well.
You might get this sense, and I think it's really healthy, when you're identifying triggers that you'll start to realize there's things I cannot control. They're not coming from me. It's just, things that are going around the world politically, societally, whatever it might be, socially, just spark something in me, some kind of passion, whether it's really positive that you're like, yes, or something that just rubs you the wrong way and you're like, I cannot stand this. And I can't save everything, right? But how can my own skills and what I've learned and where I come from, how can I translate that into society in a way that I will be heard and it can be positive, a positive change.
So, one of the major aspects that we were talking about is how strange of a time we're living in right now because so many of us are addicted to our social media. We are on our technologies. We have every single aspect of information available to us. And let's just talk about like our grandparents and how, let's say, a baby boomer, when they come into a situation and they're like, let's figure this out, they're going to sit there, they're going to work through it, they're going to write all like the directions down, they're going to pass it down to generation. Now we don't need that. We just Google it. Like we literally Google it. We are like, oh, okay. And then we're like, hey, Siri, how do you put together a chair? And then boom, the list is there. So we have this abundance of information that we are accessing. And so many of our generation and the generations under us are using that to completely distract themselves.
Mm-hmm. And to me, this has been the biggest hindrance in our society is that it's a blessing to be able to have so much information at our fingertips, but also it is the most effective way to ignore the self and others, because why am I going to worry about politics or starving children in my neighborhood when I'm watching funny videos and I'm on TikTok for 24 hours a day? Like why would you even worry when you're finding your happiness and you're getting those fixes of dopamine by relating to the world in this very virtual way?
But when we talk about spiritual separation from our society, we also want to talk about what we're going through right now. For example, everybody that's following us, people that do feel more spiritually connected, how we even separate ourselves from those people who aren't woke, right? And what is so interesting is that we really do, in so many ways, categorize ourselves as separate from others, and how we don't really do this inclusion of, okay, I've gained this process, I've come to these realizations, it makes me live in a more holistic and a healthier way. I'm happy with my life. It doesn't mean I'm better. And a lot of times in the spiritual aspect of things, it's like if you've learned different practices, if you've dedicated yourself to certain kinds of discipline, yes, you are more self-aware. Yes, you have realized things that are going to bring fulfillment into your life. So what does that really mean though? Because as much as you have those practices, you're all living in the same world, in the same society, and you're all going to die in the same society and world as well,
Yeah.
right?
And I think that living in that falsehood of if I'm able to reach joy and happiness in my life, then forget everything else, like I'm good. I think that in itself is still living in our ego, as we say, right? It's still living in a really closed-minded way where if we have found joy, then we need to be able to expand that joy to others in some way. And it doesn't mean preaching. It doesn't mean like, I'm plant-based, you must be plant-based too. But it just means sharing yourself or whatever medium that you feel comfortable in. And I've kind of said it before, but I have a really big aversion in my own personal life to social media. And then here I am making videos, right? And being able to teeter the two. I very much identify myself as a really old soul. Like if I don't open my laptop for months, I don't even sweat it out. Like I prefer it that way.
Right.
but I also have to understand during what time I'm living right now. And a lot of the things that I want to be able to give a message out there, the most effective way for people to connect to me or for me to connect to others is through social media. So putting some of that aside and being able to break out of my own bubble so that I can give to others.
So just like Nicole just did, she says, okay, I know that I have this aversion to social media. I know that I have this separation. So what we'd like you to do is take a moment to consider, what are your aversions? What are your separations? Where do you see yourself in this state separate from others? And remembering that we are all in a society. So things that really drive you crazy about our society, just let us know. Let us know in the comments. Let us know about kind of what you're doing to work on that. And also, we wanted to give you and offer you a couple of tips so that you can sort of start to integrate the two, because you're doing so much healing work on your inner self and then even on your generation, on the generational wounds. So now let's move that work into societal dissonance and let's figure out, how can we really fill that hole? So for example, when you go into a meditation and you say, what can I do to serve? And you ask just that simple question, what can I do to serve? Where these things are supposed to be collective experiences where we can all share them. So if you do find yourself really interested in different practices, different aversions, even people that are kind of sharing a message that you feel you want to share, please do link all of that stuff. Please do comment all that stuff in our little comment box, and we will share those things. And we have a few teachers and practitioners and even like political speakers and things that we love. So if you guys are interested in any of that stuff, we'd love to share that. We're sharing these messages. Just share. That's all we ask. Okay, guys, if you liked this video, give it a big thumbs up. If you did not like this video, shh. Also,
don't tell anyone.
All of the comments below are ready for you to put in whatever your thoughts are. We really are interested in what you think and how you relate to these videos. So we are so happy that you joined us. We will see you again. Bye.
If you like what you hear and you want to keep the conversation going, listen to our podcast, Ritual Común Contigo.
Also check out our Instagram, where we have affirmation, oracle cards, and give a special message just for you.
Make sure to check out our website,
ritualcomún.com.
Inhala,
Exhala. Inhala. Exhala.